Hello, my name is Najee, and this is Najee Talks, where I get topics from people, and I have them come on the show and they discuss their topics. And I make sure that the topics are under the umbrella of lifestyle.
Okay, umbrella.
Come on.
I like that. Okay, umbrella.
Thank you. All right. So today we have Kierunya Davis. Hi, Kierunya. Welcome.
Hi.
You want to tell the people something about you?
Okay. Hi, guys. I'm Kierunya Davis. I was born and raised here in Los Angeles, California, Compton. I'm 24 years old, and I went to Tuskegee University. Woo, woo. Okay, to you. I went there. I got my degree in psychology. I plan on going back to school to get my master's next year in social work. And my ultimate goal in life is just to help people, really, people who really need it as far as like mental health.
Mm-hmm.
But I specifically want to work with kids on the autism spectrum.
Okay, nice.
Just because I have a sibling who's on the spectrum, then also because I always found their behavior to be very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's ultimately what I want to do. Outside of that, I am an artist, so I do poetry, dance, create, paint, so I try to do that for like therapeutic purposes, but that's really, it's like me in a nutshell.
That's good. So I actually have a cousin who's on the autism spectrum.
I don't know that.
Yeah, I love cousin. Yeah, so I'm definitely.
It's a different experience. It is, and I used to work with them. I was a behavioral therapist for like a year and a half, and I enjoyed what I did, but I didn't enjoy the level that I was doing it on. And I think that I want to work more so on a different side where I'm not in the field.
Yeah.
So I loved it though. It was very fulfilling because to know that I'm helping somebody, survive in a world that tells them that they're not supposed to exist.
Right.
Which is, it's hard itself, and so, growing up for me, I was like bullied and stuff.
Yeah.
And because I was bullied, it made me have to love myself,
Yeah.
And a part of that was for me to also allow and to tell people it's okay to love yourself, it's okay to fall in love with yourself. And that once you do that, nobody could tell you anything about yourself.
Right.
So your bullies become your followers, people who are watching. So
I feel the same. And
so
I was bullied too, so
exactly.
I definitely get that.
And then it was for something I could never change. And
Right.
Because I'm a darker woman, and so it just gave me a lot of self-esteem issues growing up. Okay, well, what's wrong with me? You can't tell me anything about my intellect. You can't tell me anything about who I am as a person, what I bring to the table.
Right.
But the only thing you could tell me, or make fun of is something that I can't change. And colorism is very real, especially in the Black community. Because of that, I don't know. I woke up one day, I was in 6th grade. Just you're beautiful, you're amazing, you're I just start affirming myself, and ever since then, it's nothing nobody could tell me about myself to make me love myself less. And I wanted to give that as my personal gift and my footprint to somebody else. So
I like that.
that's why.
All right, well, we ready to get started?
Yeah, let's do it. I'm a little long-winded, so bear with me.
Yeah, intro, huh?
Okay.
All right, first question.
All right.
So, was there a specific relationship that you had that manifested a mental condition?
I wouldn't say manifested a specific condition, but there's been times in life where I feel people have counted me out and looked at me less than for being who I am, and that to me caused a bit of depression in my adult life. Specifically to me at Tuskegee, just because I felt an alien just because I'm an artist. I'm hella different. I speak my mind, and like I think for the conservative South, it was like, who are you? You know, like why? You know, like how dare you be yourself? You know, when so many people are not living in their authentic truth, they look at you when you live in your truth like a lot of envy, a lot of hate, and they show that. And so for me, I just was like, you know, my last couple of years, that last year of college for me was really hard, and I feel like I in a way got lost in myself because I was like, I have to be here a little bit while longer, and I feel like I'm losing my mind, you know. And then at the time I was dating somebody, so I'm trying to keep her together, and I'm trying to keep it together. I'm like, you're right there, but I was just like, yo, like I just remember calling my mom like in March, like I'm coming home. I bought my plane ticket home, and I don't know how I'm coming back, and I don't care. And her being like, what do you mean? Like, you know, like May is like right there. Like, so I was just like, no, like I'm like tired. And I know we were talking about like asking for help. I think that was my cry for help without even really asking. Just I need to be around my family. I need to see y'all. I need to know that this last 2 months I can do it. You know, sometimes you just need that reminder. And she's like, okay, well, come on, but you going back. And I was like, okay. So I ended up going back, and then I think that like these last 3 years of my life, I think that like I've literally been coming back to myself. And I think that though that specific situation really tested me and my self-love for myself, and I had to refine myself. And I feel like we're always refining ourselves and we're always growing as a person. So I think that specifically that time in my life was the hardest. And to come out of that right now, it's just like, whoa, you know, like I literally just been through hell. And so I just try to take it easy. You know, one day at a time.
One day at a time, that's how it is.
One day at a time.
Okay, so next question. All right, so what was the mental condition that you suffered from?
I feel like it was just depression. Like, you know, I'm not eating. I don't want to talk to anybody. I was isolating myself. Because I just kind of felt, like I said, I felt misunderstood, and I was just like, don't nobody understand, nobody care. And I don't think that was necessarily the case. I think I had to step outside of myself and realize, okay, are you being fair? You said people are not caring, but you're also not caring for yourself. You're also not taking care of yourself. But I feel like, you know, when you're in a depressive state, it's kind of hard to pick yourself up every day when you got so much shit trying to knock you down. You know? And so I would say like it was depression. Like I go to class, come home, go to sleep. I wouldn't even eat. Like so I wasn't even eating. And like my mentor is like crying, you good? I'm like, I'm good. I'm telling everybody I'm fine, but I'm literally just like dazed out. Like I'm ready to go. I don't like this. So I would say just like depression.
So for me, depression was, mine was a indirect depression. So the relationship I was in, the woman was depressed, and it was just like, cause you know, it's like, we're just so connected in that way. So when the depression was hitting her, it became affecting me. So then as it kept affecting me, it was like, you know, I'm like, that's crazy, you know, like, and then even after the relationship was ended, I broke up with her, you know, so we could both heal. I was still going through a lot. But it was just like really bad because it was like I still had that depression lingering, and then at the same time it was just like hard because I didn't have that person to talk to. And that's the thing, because it's like that person that you want to talk to is the one that's still depressed, and the one that caused it. Exactly. And so it's like, damn, so what am I gonna do? So it's like that emptiness. And then
I definitely think my partner at the time was also experiencing the same stuff. It's because we had literally just gotten offline, you know, we was dealing with a lot of stuff, and I think that she was also experiencing a lot, and I think that her opening up to me while I'm also going through my stuff was a lot more pressure on my back, because I feel like when you're in love with somebody or you're with somebody, you want to make sure they're good. You know, and I had to also draw a line as well, and like figure out what's best for me. Like, okay, this relationship is done. It's very poisonous to my soul. And like we were talking about earlier, you just kind of gotta watch what you give your energy to, and you have to realize there are certain lines that at the end of the day I can only do my best to help you from so much of an angle where it's not affecting me and I can't be a foundation for you anymore. And I think that, so I definitely think that also played into my mental health at the time as well. Like I think that I was always trying to just look out for her, but I'm like, I'm drowning, and then nobody asks me if I'm okay, but I'm always the one that's asking, are you okay? You know, and that's me being the selfish person I am, but it also gets really tough sometimes because you also want that back, you know? And I think that a lot of people are so caught up in themselves and so caught up in technology and so caught up in what's happening with them that they don't even think to ask, how you doing? You know?
And then so another thing that happened with the year, so with my program, the last year, 6 months of the program, I was in the labs doing work like blood work, urinary analysis, microbiology, the stuff I studied basically. So we were in there basically like the internship though. So we was in there basically the last 6 months working. And so the thing is, I kept getting in trouble with the people. And so it was like, the thing is, and it was like I had like 3 meetings with them, with the people, with my deans, my program director, and then I think I forgot, and so it was like, and it was like one of my professors, and it was like, they really just looked at me, like, my professor, she was always like the mom that looked at me, like, looked down on me, because I was like when class was, I was always late and stuff, so she used to always got my hand about all that stuff I was doing. And so when I would get in trouble, she just thought it was just me being myself or whatever. And then there was the dean or the president, whatever, the head of the department. She was always on my back though, right? So she was trying to look out for me. But then it was like the hardest thing was like she didn't ask me what was wrong. So the issue was I was lashing out, but nobody cared. And so they felt like, and then even though we had it was women, and they still didn't even try, because one of them already thought I lost cause. And the other one was kind of like more on that kind of like a tomboyish side. So she kind of like was on the guy side mentally, and so just being on the feminine side and like caring. So she was just like, I got you, but I tried to explain. When we were sitting down, I was trying to tell them what was going on too. And then she was just like, she was just like, you don't have to explain basically. And I kind of hurt because I really did want to talk. And so I was like, and so then the third time it was with the dean, and the dean was basically on the same thing as my
so it's kind of like
she was just like on some like
everybody was just giving up.
So you know, if you're gonna, she thought I was just a delinquent. The dean, she was like, you know, people like you don't get far in life basically.
Wow. Most definitely. I most definitely experienced that. I think that like even like me moving back to California and like, you know, my parents just seeing a different person because they don't know what I just went through. They don't know the trauma that I'm dealing with was on my chest because I'm not talking about it. And they're just thinking, who are you? Because when I sent you away, this is not who you were, right? You know, life. And I just recently had to explain to, I said that why the death and Nipsey Hussle was so hard for just the Black communities and also just for artists and stuff. Because I feel as though, you know what I'm saying, music is such a therapeutic thing, and like when you hear music and you feel understood, you're like, okay, this is a healing process as well, you know. And I had to explain to him, like, you know, when all this stuff is happening, I was like not here, like mentally I wasn't here. And he's like, wow, you never told me that. Right. And I was like, I never told you that, but I didn't want you to make the assumption that I'm a failure. I'm not gonna do anything. I said, give me time, because life has a way of teaching you lessons, regardless if you want to learn them or not. And I was just going through my lessons, and I just have to break it down and put it down to his level of understanding that art is such a powerful thing, you know, and like I feel like I'm healing from art, and then at the same time I have to explain to him that, you know, like you went through your stuff, so don't look down on me when I'm doing something that you've been through. Because you didn't want me to go through the same thing. And it's like, that's not your lesson. It's mine. And I was like, you let me learn, just like you did, and give me my time. And I think that a lot of people feel like if that's happening, that okay, well, I'm gonna give up on this person. And I think that's why a sense of community is so important.
Yeah.
You know, and that's why it's also important for us to communicate. Like,
right.
I'm struggling right now. You know, like I'm not okay.
Yeah.
It's okay to say I'm not okay.
Right.
Like, that's one of my hardest lessons. I'm not okay, and I need help.
Right.
Because you may reach out and think you're communicating, but the message might not be what they're hearing.
Right. Right.
So I'm just like, I need help. Like I'm down. Like, and I just feel like recently, you know, like they've been a lot more understanding, and I feel like it made a difference for me to just like say like I was really going through some stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good though.
Yeah. And so you shouldn't be afraid to communicate, you know. And it's different forms, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes I feel like for me, I try to exercise different forms of communication. Sometimes you can't say it, but you can write it down.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can't say it, but you can play a song.
Right.
This is what I feel.
Yeah.
And the whole time the song's like, this is what I feel.
Right.
And then the person listens to the lyrics like, dang, I didn't know you was feeling like that.
Yeah.
So it's different forms, you know. Sometimes everybody communicates differently. And I think that those other parties have to be open to that too. Like, here's my letter. I can't tell you what's going on, but here's some, read this. So, yeah.
I mean, cause so now I'm kind of like I'm having some issues with stuff, but it's like, so like for me, it's going back. So it's like coming back from a hiatus and going back into school, but it's not just school. It's like being in. It is being in the clinic, and so the clinic situations is like having that. It's like heavy because it's like an expectation. I feel that I have to like provide. But it's been a while, and the thing is, nobody's expecting it from me because everybody is trying to help me get back on the horse. But my pride is messing with me so much that it's hard for me to get through it like I should, and let people help me, you know. And so it's like, I don't know, it's kind of hard because it's like, because I know this stuff, but it's just like getting back into the experience with the patients and everything, and it's just like. And then it kind of is heavy because the senior clinicians that are there, the students, they were the ones I started the clinic with when I was in the fall, and it's like, oh, it feels like they kind of just bypassed me, you know. So I'm just there like, you the guys I was here with, whatever. So then now I'm kind of like behind y'all, but like I know what happened, but it's just kind of heavy. And then just like when I was on my little hiatus, whatever, I created 2 businesses and. You know, I did assistant directing of a stage play, so I'm in charge. So I basically was doing a lot of leadership roles, so I'm used to being in that position. And so it's like trying to have to get back into like being humble and taking in the information. I mean, I'm good at like, you know what I'm saying, not showing that, you know, making it seem, you know, I'm good at least showing that I'm listening and stuff like that. It's just kind of heavy, like trying to get back into that transition of it is all. Yeah, so.
I definitely think so too, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I've been out of school for 3 years and like, so I'm gonna go back and get my master's next year.
Yeah.
And I think that like, I'm on Instagram and see, social media, it could be your own poison, you know, it just depends on the way you look at it. And I think that like, once I get down on myself about, okay, I'm seeing all these graduates down my feed that, you know, that I graduated with in 2016 and I'm like, yo, like, what's happening right now? Like, I feel like, so I completely understand where you feel like it's like they passing me up.
Right.
And we was we started at the same starting line.
Yeah.
They already finished what they doing.
Yeah.
And then I had to remind myself that I can't compare my journey to somebody else's.
Exactly.
Like, and I think that came from me, you know, just like, you know, growing up being bullied in middle school. Yeah. And just learning that like, I don't have to be someone else's expectation of what they want me to be. Like, my journey is my journey. So when I get what I got from life, it'll be because that's the way it was supposed to be. Right. Not what everybody else is doing. Yeah. And I feel like a lot of times you gotta stop and remind yourself, like, don't be so hard on yourself. Because a lot of people only show what they want you to see. They're not gonna show you the struggle. They're not gonna show you, oh, you know what I'm saying, I'm mentally struggling. They're gonna show you the depression. They're not gonna show you the antidepressants that they're taking. Right, yeah. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, but they're gonna show you what they want you to see. So I also have to remind myself too, like, I don't know what they got going on behind closed doors. Right. And that their journey is their journey, my journey is my journey. And I think those are two different things, and I would hate to confuse the two. Like, no, I'm proud. I keep telling my friends I'm so proud of them. I'm like, y'all proud. I'm so proud of you. Like, and I'm telling them, and they're like, they say it back, I'm so proud of you. And I'm like, you haven't seen anything yet. Like, I'm just getting back to myself. So once I come back to myself, like, I feel like what I'm gonna do is gonna be exactly what I already told myself to do. And then I also have to remind myself of where I've been. Like, look at all the stuff you did this young, you know? So don't even be so hard on yourself, because everybody's journey is different.
Right. Because what usually helps me is I think about all the stuff I have going for me, you know? That's what keeps people strong.
And I just feel like our journey is just different, you know? And at the end of the day, like, what they got is what was meant for them. Right. What we gonna get is gonna be meant for us.
Right, exactly.
And sometimes it takes a little bit longer. Sometimes it takes a little help. Sometimes, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes the help is not there. Sometimes you can ask for the help, but the help is not there. And then in time it comes. So everything happens in the time it's supposed to happen in.
All right, so let's move on to another question. All right. So just how you were saying that you've gotten over that hill with the depression.
So
the thing is, during that transition, was there something or someone that helped you get through it?
Most death. I feel like for me, like, my family has been a very huge part in helping me find a healing space again. They're always supporting me. Like, when I came back home, I started writing poetry. And then people started asking me to do shows and stuff. And my cousin would always be like, what time do you need me to pick you up? What time do you need me to drop you off? You know, like, and was there the whole time. And that has been there pretty much at every show. And I didn't even realize that she could be a liaison in my life to help me, like, overcome, like, so much dark shit that I'm transitioning through. And she was just right there, like, she's been there, you know, like, okay, Kierunya, like, what do you need from me? How can I help you? You know? And I think just us having conversations and talking about what we're going through at the time we're going through it. Because, like I said, I feel like we're all going through something. And a lot of times we don't talk to each other. And we can be each other's healing properties, you know? So I would say, like, just art and, like family and friends, like really close friends who I opened up to about, like, what I was going through at the time and, like, where I was at mentally and how I was in myself, in a way. And then, like, for them to remind me, all right, you weren't. Right. This is who you are, you know? And don't you ever forget that, you know, that. So getting that reminder from my loved ones and just them telling me, I'm still proud of you for all the awesome that you've done, you know, and I know you got so much more to come. Right. And so I would just really say family. Family has been such a huge thing for me. I wouldn't even really say friends because, you know, friends, right? I always catch myself like friends, and I'm like, nah, associates. Because really, that's really what it is, because they're not there, you know what I'm saying? They're not there when I'm crying, you know, I'm human. Because people look at me and they see what I put out there, and they're like, you're such a happy person, you're such a, and I'm like, little do you know, I just had a breakdown right before I got on here. I accepted it and I moved forward from it, and I was like, you know what? Kierunya, remind yourself that it's okay. And then I got on here on social media and I was just like my bright, beautiful self again, because it's okay to cry, it's okay for me to be upset, but that's not something that, like I said, I show other people. Right. So I kind of like feel like everybody's masking themselves off. And like, so my family though, like really, they really came through this last 3 years and they really helped me come back to a place where I feel like, okay, mentally I'm prepared to do what I was supposed to do in the beginning. Right. You know? So, family.
Definitely family for sure.
Family for your siblings, cousins, aunties, brothers, like the whole list, grandmothers.
Everybody is doing their thing.
It's so crazy. Like I had my cousin just turned 25, and they had a party at their apartment, and my grandmother was there, and when growing up, she used to play like a lot of blues and stuff for me, and I love blues. And there's this song called Best Woman, and basically she's just in a song like, you'll always be the best woman, like you'll always be the best woman. And my grandmother like played it. I played it with my grandmother. We just singing together, and just like moments like that was just like, like that's a reminder that I am my best self, and I have to continue to strive to be my best self. Right. So, just family. Family, man. Shout out to you guys. You guys help me so much. But yeah, family.
Yeah. Okay, let's go on to another question then. So how would you, in your own words, describe self-love?
Oh, self-love. I think self-love is realizing that there's nothing wrong with being alone. That you should take your alone time to tell yourself how much you love yourself and to grow yourself spiritually, mentally, physically. Because it's not just mentally meditating, it's also physically what you put into your body. What's in your body, you're gonna start to feel that in your soul. So even your mind, like being alone, reading a book. It's so crazy to me how people don't read. And I was one of those people that wasn't reading and stuff, and I think that I read The Alchemist, and I feel
I swear you were the first person that said it first before I
read The Alchemist. I read The Alchemist, and my friend sent it to me about 2 years ago. She sent me a whole bunch of books and stuff like that, and I was just I read that, finally finished and read The Alchemist, and I was just whoa, it was such an intense thing for me. And we just talk about a journey, a journey about how you go through all this stuff, and if you don't go through this stuff, you can miss the beauty of exploring the world and exploring yourself. And I think that, so for me, I'm always trying to grow myself, and so that to me is self-love. It's being able to take all the negative things and all the bad things and all the trauma and reminding yourself that everything has happened for a reason up until this point. And I think that I got those lessons, like I said, from all the trauma that I've been through, as a child, growing up, going to college, thousands of miles away from home. It's not a lot of people who go away, get their degree, and, come back and get to the community and create outlets like this and to talk about in an open space. And I think that's so important. And I think that, like I said, our generation struggles with being alone. I've literally been on Instagram. I'm not even gonna call out my associates or my friends, but I see people who was in a relationship for 5 years, broke up with the person. 2 months, 3 months later, they with somebody else. Where's that healing time? You know what I'm saying? Where's that? Really short. Where's that self-love? Where's that self-love? Where to me, that's the universe's sign, that's God's sign to tell you to take a break, think about yourself, build yourself. And I think, like I said, that's doing stuff that you might not ever have ever done before. I went skydiving 2 years ago for my birthday. And there was my cousin helping me get there, you know what I'm saying? And it was, for me, that was self-love, doing what I want to do. You know what I'm saying? Trying new things, stepping outside the box. I think that's what self-love is. It's giving to yourself, important to yourself. And if you can't do that for yourself, you cannot do that for a significant other.
Definitely.
And that's why you have so many broken families, so many kids with so many traumas, and it's because it's a cycle, and people don't slow down and stop themselves and teach themselves a new way. So I think that's what self-love is. It's exploring new things, learning yourself. And you never stop learning yourself. That's a forever journey. That's a forever journey. You get older and you still learning. You should always want to continue to learn yourself. So I think that's what self-love is. Sometimes you gotta stand in the mirror and be like, who's that, honey? Look at that. Okay, look at what you bringing to the table. Look, you got this, that, and reminding yourself what you've done for yourself. And what you're gonna do for others too. It's selfless as well. Self-love is selfless. But then able to step outside of yourself sometimes too and give to other people and not expect things in return. I'm working on that. Expectations are hard for me. They are very hard because I feel like I deserve what I give. Whatever I put into the universe is what you're supposed to get back. Sometimes I feel like I get short that, And then again, I have to remind myself, okay.
I mean, the thing is with the whole give and return, for me, I don't have expectations for people, period. So the thing is, it helps. So the thing is, I know people, but I'm still like this with a lot of people. And so it makes it easier to, if they do something or if they don't do something, I don't get hurt.
I used to be like that. I used to be very pause. Anytime somebody did something, I cut them off. I just didn't care.
Yeah.
And then I realized that though there are 8 billion people in the world, like, how many great relationships are ruined with that? You know, me not communicating with me, not, you know, loving myself enough to be like, okay, sometimes you gotta admit you're wrong. You know, sometimes you gotta, you know, admitting you're wrong. Oh my gosh. Sometimes you gotta tell yourself, that's hard. But at the same time, it's like so important. You know, it's important to have that balance. And I think that it's like I said, I feel like it's a journey. Self-love is a journey. It never stops. It keeps going. You just keep feeding yourself. And then if you ever get to the point where you can have the same thing from somebody else and y'all can share that, it's an experience. Just like, you know, Najee was saying, you don't own a person. Right. You get to experience them. And you get to experience love that they have for themselves, that they're sharing with you. And that's a beautiful thing, you know, because a lot of people don't love themselves. And that's why their relationships can be toxic, because they're relying on this person to give them something. And same thing like Will Smith said, no, we bringing our love to, we separately love ourselves, and we bringing that to the table to share with each other. Right. And when it's not equal, then that's a lot of problems. So I think self-love is the first, you should fall in love with yourself first, then with somebody else, or then with something else, you know. Because I'm in love with art. Right. That's it. That's my baby right there, you know. That's my lady. Like,
So in my clinical psychology course, we were talking about the priorities of love when it comes to the self, the significant other, and the child. And so we were talking about how, like, you should love yourself first, just like you were saying, give it to your significant other. But then when it comes to the child, don't you give the child more love than your significant other. Because if you give that love to that child over this person here, they're gonna think they're everything. They're gonna be like, oh well, I'm getting everything, I deserve all this attention. So that's how I feel. Right. And so the thing, but if you show them the love of a couple, you know, then they're gonna see that, and they're gonna see that that the couple is gonna prioritize over the child. And certain things, not everything, but you know, there are certain things that you're going to do, and they'll notice it and realize it, and be like, okay, this is a prime example of a good relationship, and then they're gonna show that love towards me. But not one over the other or whatever, or they'll both come towards me. But like, you know,
it's definitely a balance. But I can be a little biased on that, just because I feel like my kids are my legacy, you know? And I feel like they should be equal. Like, I don't feel like you should love your significant other more. I don't think you should love your child more, but I feel like it should be an equal amount of love and experience given to both of them.
And see, the thing is, I feel like when it comes, I'm just saying more so like showing them an example of a healthy relationship, not like to where one of them comes. So if you show them how it should be going, they're gonna take it in. But then if you show them more attention than the significant other, then they're gonna think that's how it should work. That's what I'm saying.
So true. And there are a lot of people. There are a lot of people who have only child syndrome because of that.
Exactly.
And you know, no shade on umbrellas, but it's real. But I think it, like I said, it definitely needs to be a balance, and it definitely does need to be, you know, an example, you know. But I mean, the family dynamic can be difficult because a lot of people don't learn that way. You know what I'm saying? Socially, that's not what we're taught. We're taught to one or the other. And I think a lot of people forget that love is infinite. You know, and so like I said, once you love yourself, you can give that love. And so you wouldn't have those problems because you love yourself, and that's what you're gonna teach your child. That's what you're gonna teach your significant other. And it should be really a bounce off of the whole, you know, situation. Because I personally feel like in the Black community, you know, it's a lot of rules. It's a lot of rules of, you know, a child should be seen and not heard, you know, and that to me growing up was so confusing because I was like, don't I have a say in like what I get to do? Like, no, not at all. And it's just like, wow, you know. And I think, like I said, that to me is self-love that's admitted into your child. Like, okay, I'm okay with if this is what you want to do. That's how you're loving yourself and feeding that instead of telling them sit down, sit in the corner, go sit. No, sometimes just also listen to your child. You know, I think that a lot of people don't do that. You know, and I think that's personally not how I want to parent. I want to parent where I hear my child out and I give them a voice because that's what they are supposed to have as a human being. So, I mean, but that's just the way I see it.
That's good.
I feel like a lot of people are like, no, like, you know, very traditional and very like, it's nothing wrong with celebrating tradition.
Yeah.
It's nothing wrong like remembering history, but your whole job to me is to create your own history.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and like it's okay, well, I saw the way this happened to me, and I don't want to do that to my child.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, because I remember, so an example of that would be Will Smith was talking about him and Jada.
Yeah.
And they were talking about how she cursed him out in front of some people at dinner. And then he hit her with like a newspaper.
Yeah.
And then they went into the back and then they were talking. And he was like telling her that he grew up in an abusive relationship, household. And he doesn't want to have
that wasn't okay
like that, yeah. And so like he had basically was like, no, none of that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
we're gonna cut this out. Yeah, I actually remember seeing that, and I really, like I said, we can only see what people show us, but I really agree with a lot of their parenting styles.
Yeah.
Agree with like how their relationship is. Look up to how they are as a couple, just because I feel like once you, like I said, like self-love is also, you know, digging into yourself spiritually, and I think that's what they do as a couple.
Yeah.
And I think that's what Najee also did too. So, and I think that when you do that, like you can open your partner up to that, and it's a healthy relationship because nobody's controlling anybody. Everybody is them, and the love is spread equally, and I feel like that's the best result of self-love.
Yeah.
You know. So sorry. I feel so bad. You might have to edit that out.
No, I already know how to put some stuff out. It's fine though. I know how to do it, so it's easy. Alright, so let's go on to the next question.
Okay.
So, what advice would you give to give to women that are still in relationships dealing with mental conditions that prevents them from loving themselves?
I think the advice I would give them is, like I said, I've been saying this whole time, is don't be afraid to ask for help, you know? And sometimes I just want to go get a therapist. Because it's this stigma that if you have a therapist, you're crazy. And like, that's not necessarily true.
Yeah.
That you have to be crazy to have a therapist, but that's somebody else to talk to that doesn't have a bias of how you are as a person, that has never experienced you, but has the opportunity to open up a space where you can feel safe to tell them what's going on, you know. So for my thing is, it would be for them and whoever they're with to get that mental help that they deserve, that they need. And I actually follow this girl on Instagram. She's like so amazing. Like, she's a great dresser, and she has this thing where she takes her antidepressants online, and she's created this stigma where it's like, if you need them, take them. And I feel like if you need them, take them. You need the help, go get it. Like, you need somebody to talk to, ask. Like, and it's really important to do that. Like, it's kind of like a responsibility. Like, we can't expect other people to understand us if we're not even trying to communicate and be understood. So that's not my advice would be, if you need the help, go get it. If you need the medicine, take it. If you need alone time, take it. If you need to meditate. You know, if you need to read a book, read a book. If you need to go see a motivational speaker, do it. Like, whatever you need to do to get yourself better mentally, go ahead and do that. You know, and I think that is self-love's biggest lesson, is to step out of your way so that you can continue to grow as a person. Because you never want to become stagnant, you know? Growth is so important. And if you become stagnant, you're not really living. You're just existing. That's really it. Like, that's my advice. Do what you need to do. You know, and everybody's journey is different. I can't even give you a direct thing of what you need to do. But if you need it, seek it. And it'll come to you, you know?
That's good stuff. That's great.
That's good stuff. Much love. I hope it is, you know? I hope so.
But no, this is a really great conversation.
And I feel like it's crazy because I don't know, they probably don't know, but for how long we've known each other. Like, I've known you since my freshman year. And it's like, it's just crazy to kind of see how our journeys are very similar. You know, we said our stories to tell each other, and we haven't really even spoken in a very long time. It says something, you know. And this was meant to happen. This moment was meant to happen. as me being a cheerleader to you, you've been a cheerleader to me, and you know, like me opening up more. Because this is a vulnerable situation for us to even speak about mental health, to speak about self-love.
Right.
Because a lot of people don't see outlets that do this. So
and
that's part of the reason why when you asked me, I was like, I'm down. Like, I'll be there. Like, you know, like I support stuff like that just because we need that, you know?
I really appreciate it.
So, and no problem. No problem. And I'm teaching myself that I have to, because sometimes I feel like I separate myself from the world, and sometimes I know that I have a lot of knowledge to give, and I'm selfish with that, and I have to realize that sometimes these moments are where I have to give myself the selfless moments to teach other people, you know, learn through experience, and I can't sit there and say that I honestly share all my art equally or as much as I in a way should. So I'm working on that, like work in progress.
That's good.
Self-love is work in progress.
Definitely.
That, you know what? That's a good quote. Self-love is work in progress. So.
Copyright that.
I should, huh? I should. I really should. I'm gonna put that on a t-shirt or something.
See? How you
Or jacket. Jacket's probably cooler.
And see if you come back on, you can pop the shirt.
Yeah, I really could. I really do appreciate that. Yeah, something to think about.
See, that's what I'm here for. That's the point of this.
Yeah, most def. I definitely think so.
Well, thank you so much.
You done?
Yeah.
We're done?
Yes.
Okay. It's been a long time. I do appreciate it. Thank you for reaching out, you know, and allowing me to come into your space and we share an exchange of like what's going on as far as our lives and our experiences. Appreciate it.
Of course.
All right.
Thank you.
I love how you're like, thank you, I'm ashamed.